Welcome back to Light the Fuse, the only podcast that's sort of your friendly neighborhood podcast. You just kind of pour yourself a draft beer and sit down on the couch and listen to it or whatever, you know?
Sure.
It's kind of...
It's the only podcast for that.
Yeah. This is Drew Taylor, once again joined by Charles Hood.
Hello.
And today we are doing the second part of our epic Keith Campbell interview.
Yes.
Stunt coordinator. He was a stunt coordinator on your movie.
Yep.
Which is coming out soon.
It is.
I don't know if it's been announced yet, but...
No, it'll be in early December. It'll be out.
Okay.
So we'll be sure to keep you updated.
Great.
This episode comes out, I think, at the end of October. So...
Ooh, spooky.
So happy Halloween to all of you out there.
Yeah. So on this episode, we get into the nuts and bolts of Mission Impossible 2 and his work on that. What he did. He had this...
He's a great John Woo story.
Great John Woo story. He was in AI.
Oh, yeah. He talks about his part in AI, which is really cool.
How he worked with Gore Verbinski. He was a weird guy. I forget the name of his character now.
But again, he's an actor.
He's an actor, but he was in Rango. And
I mean, this guy is Tom Crooze, Crooze.
He is, yeah.
That famous Ben Stiller Kickin' Impossible, or it's called Mission Improbable sketch that was for the MTV
Movie Awards.
Technically, Keith is Tom Crooze.
Yeah. But
he never legally changed his name to reflect that.
No. But you will hear so many great stories.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Oh, I wanted to say, I followed up with Todd Vaziri because, when we did our Ghost Protocol commentary, which, by the way, we do commentaries for our Patreon. You should sign up for our Patreon so you can get the commentaries. There's a shot in Ghost Protocol where they're at the airport, and you see the skyline of Dubai in the background. But we connected the dots, and we were like, remember Brad Bird was telling us that they shot at the Santa Monica airport.
Yes.
And I recognized one of the buildings that was the Santa Monica airport. So I followed up with Todd Vaziri and messaged him on Twitter. And he said, yes, he believes that is something that ILM did. They added the Dubai skyline into that airport. It's like after they're leaving to go to India.
Yes,
so they go to the airport.
You should see the car scene.
Yes. That was just shot at Santa Monica Airport. And it's a really cool shot where you see the Dubai skyline and they kind of back off from it in the distance. It's like in the distance. It's cool. Anyway. I was very happy.
Thanks for updating us. And that was for the 5 people that listen to that commentary track.
That's for the super nerds out there. No, it's for anybody who loves Ghost Protocol. The next time you watch Ghost Protocol.
Well, you know what I think you'll
see that was the Santa Monica Airport.
Yeah, you should. Well, first of all, you should sign up to Patreon and watch it with us, with our commentary.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of great stuff if you do that. The commentaries, obviously, but extended interviews, exclusive stuff. We're looking to do more stuff. I have a funny idea that I wanted to share with you about what we could do on Patreon.
Oh, a secret idea.
Okay,
yeah. We're not going to share it with you out there.
Not yet.
Great.
Not until I get the sign off. But so sign up, and until then, here's the second part of our Keith Campbell interview, and we'll have the third part of Keith Campbell next week. So this is far from over. Don't worry. And now here's Kevin Blumenfeld's. I wouldn't even say legally dissimilar. I would just say blatantly
ripped off.
Music.
Okay, it's Kevin's version of the plot thing.
It's Kevin's version where he copied it note for note. Yes. Okay.
Gave it some flourishes.
And we'll be back at the end of the episode. What was De Palma's general vibe?
Yeah, what was it like working with him? He was, for me, like I said, I was a much newer stunt guy. He was, he had a tray. I'm trying to think what was on the tray. If he had a cigar the whole time.
This is a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's like,
you're a killer stunt man. You're gonna be in picture.
Yeah. Exactly. I remember one time one thing that just sticks out of my mind from way back then. It's such a random thing, but he goes, cut, Tom, I saw you acting. And Tom goes, yes, I was acting. Sorry. Just instead of being in the moment, and it was such a funny
that's like a conversation that they must have had before.
Yeah, between the two of them, it was awesome. But it was a long time ago.
Kind of a grouchy guy, though. From
I never saw the grouchiness. You know what? I said, can I get a picture with you? And he smiled and said, absolutely. And I kind of just, anytime somebody's like that, instead of making you feel like it's a bother to them, he was awesome and he autographed it. And
that's awesome.
Later on,
What I'm trying to get at here is, do you have his email address?
I do. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think he has email.
I know.
I've heard. Doesn't he not even have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Heck, that was how long? That was 24 years.
He's on our Mount Rushmore of who we want to get to interview at some point.
That was cool.
Yeah. So the movie wraps. You're still doubling Tom for other films in between Mission and 2?
Yes. What do we do in between? I can't remember. When did Jerry Maguire come in?
That was in between.
That was 96 also.
It was really fun because I got to spend some time on that movie set and get slapped in the face when there was really no stunts to do on that movie.
You were hanging out, enjoying craft services.
There was a scene where he's in the back of the cab and it was such a nothing scene and Tom wasn't around for that and that didn't even make the movie. Christmas night, Monday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys played the Cardinals. They used footage from that in the movie. I got a call and they said, hey, would you be willing to go down to the Monday Night Football game? Tom is having Christmas with his family, whatever. And I said, heck yeah. And they had guessed at that point, it was a few months before the movie started, what his wardrobe might be. So I had the most amazing time running through the hall, out onto the field, hanging out on the field for Monday Night Football. And none of it made the movie because it was a whole different wardrobe change.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was thinking,
it'd be nice
what
to
is
get
this
that footage.
scene that you're talking about?
it's when the
climax,
Tidwell,
right?
he gets injured and he's on the phone,
or
and
he seems like he's injured, but it turns out he's just like faking it.
Turns
right?
out
he just wanted that scene's great.
It was awesome.
Also, in between, you worked with John Woo on Face Off.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Who were you doubling on that?
Nobody. I was a boat owner, and John Travolta decides to shoot me when I'm sitting on the edge of my boat, and then he steals my boat.
That's a great squib. Talk about a great squib hit. I know that scene. Yeah,
it's my face in there.
Yeah, do you know the part where he goes up to the?
I haven't watched it in a few years.
Oh, I love that movie.
The boat chase,
but your kind of like recoil is great.
I feel flying off that boat.
See, you are an actor.
Don't sell yourself short.
So we talk about how many iterations of Mission Impossible 2 they went through before shooting. So when did you come on? Like what version, and when did Tom start talking to you about a sequel?
Well, I get a call that he was talking. They were talking about the concept. They'd hire a stunt coordinator, and the stunt coordinator said, "Hey, we're doing this show." And then I get a call a little later that's from Tom Crooze's people and say, "Hey, Tom is meeting with John Woo at his house. I would like you to go there and meet John Woo." And so I'm like, this is one of the coolest things that I've ever done. And I get to go to his house, and I walk in, and Tom introduces me to John Woo, and the look on John Woo's face is like, just what am I going to do with this? Is what I see in John Woo's face. I'm way taller, my hair's blonder, quite a bit blonder back then, and he's looking at me like, this is never going to work. And so I feel bad, and the coordinator calls me and said, yeah, John he's wondering how you're going to double him, but Crooze said, well, that's my guy. So we're going to Australia, and you're doing the movie. So the first little sequence I got to work on was some motorcycle riding stuff that was second unit stuff. And they are watching dailies the next day of this motorcycle sequence, and John Woo says to the stunt coordinator, he says, Brian Smurs, by the way, was the stunt coordinator. He was awesome. He says, Brian, I need this guy to double Tom the whole movie. I'm sorry, but it just has to be. And Brian says, well, that's good, because that's Keith, the guy you met.
And the guy that was in your other movie.
So then I see John Woo on the set, and he's got the biggest smile on his face. And I think John Woo speaks English pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wants anyone to know it. So he understands
it's a good way
everything.
To keep people away.
Exactly. But he is smiling so big, and he said, I didn't think you were going to be a good double for him, and I saw the footage and it was great, so I'm sorry, something like that. He was so funny and so humble about it. It was a funny moment because, man, he thought, how are you going to be Tom Cruise's stunt double?
So you were there, you were there when principal photography started in earnest, because there was a whole thing where people went down and then it got shut down for however long. What was it, 6 weeks or something?
Oh yeah, because they were going to go into production.
Yeah,
and then they delayed. I think maybe we assume it's because of budget cuts and stuff.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, so so a lot of people were down there and then not working, and that's when it was supposed to be Christmas '99, and it ended up being summer 2000.
Okay. I know we spent like 7 months in Sydney, Australia. Went back to America to do the rock climbing sequence in Moab, Utah, and then went back to Australia for another month. I mean,
Jesus,
it went on and on and on and on.
Wow.
Yep.
So, and you were doing in Utah. You did some of the climbing stuff.
I did a little bit of it. Everything that I did, Tom did as well. And Tom was pretty cool, and John Woo was also cool about. Tom would do something, I would do something, and it would be, well, whatever one looks better will probably be in the movie. And it was a very polite way of saying that some of my stuff worked out a little better than Tom's. But
right. Well, you're the gymnast.
Yeah, exactly.
Do I have to tell you this is the number one gymnast in the stunt industry?
Yes, the number one gymnast in the stunt industry.
Yeah.
Right. And that only works if you're tuning into this podcast late. So, yeah.
I think I feel like it's like I feel like it's different now. This was like an earlier Tom Cruise. It's like a new version of Tom Cruise that would not be doing that, would be more insistent on.
It's true. I mean, I hear things, and then, unfortunately now we just go by hearsay, but Top Gun, for example, I heard that there was a stunt double for him who there was never any wardrobe for the stunt double, because it was only for him to go rehearse stuff while Tom was busy doing other stuff, because Tom was going to do everything. So
wow,
this is like my dream job. You just go on set, you hang out with Tom Cruise, you eat food. I'm assuming he's got his chef there. You get to have access to that.
The thing is, I don't think you get to hang out with him too much.
Yeah, not too much. He's a busy guy. Work ethic. First guy to work, last guy to leave.
This is what we hear.
Every day, no matter what, and the nicest guy you could ever be around.
And his intensity brings up your level.
Totally.
Commitment.
I mean, and he expects a lot out of you. So,
does he sleep?
He's got to.
I hope so.
He sleeps the best any human being has ever slept.
I asked him, because I was again such a geek, and I go, "What's it like being Tom Cruise?" And he goes, "Keith, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else.
But I do it with a cold efficiency."
I thought back, I don't know if it was a risky business or something, but there's a scene where he rocks back and puts both his legs in the pants at one time.
He might.
Exactly.
If he doesn't do it in Cocktail, he should.
Yeah.
So we were watching your reel earlier.
Yes.
We should put that up, but
I don't know if we can. Do you have a website? Is it okay to put that up? Can we do that?
No. I have a website, but that's more of a coordinating website. It's not so much for just that stuff. I would love. It's all in the movies, but then I have to get out there and say, well, yeah, I did all this stuff. But the truth is, if I did it, it's only because Tom was doing something else.
Yeah.
I've never worked with a better athlete, either in the stunt business or in the acting world, as Tom. It's amazing. And then as his career goes on and on, what I hear is he just trains more and more and more and more. Used to be guys ride a motorcycle for him, which on Mission Impossible, he just said, "Nah, I got most of this stuff except for the simple long lens second unit stuff." And man, it just scared scared me to death, and the coordinator's just going, "Oh my gosh!" But it's good.
You're like watching him do the
watching
motorcycle
him
stunts.
do stuff and just go, "Holy crap!" Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did a lot of the motorcycle joust at the end, and a jump out of that facility that you said was really hard.
Oh my gosh.
Why was it so hard?
This is on that island.
On the
It's all in the climax, yeah.
Oh, that thing. Running through these caverns, I guess. I mean, this old military base with these caves. And I have this cable hooked to my sternum area, pulling me forward, all for the reason of by the time I have to get to the end of this and do this jump up where the helicopter is going to pick him up, is too far to do on my own. And so there's some assist there. And just, it's hard to explain the feeling of this weight, of this force pulling you forward as you're running. If you make one bad step, you go down and then you get dragged into cement things and so forth. Yeah, it's pretty frightening stuff. That's all. It's hard to explain without the visuals exactly.
Are you like an adrenaline junkie?
Not at all. I'm kind of the opposite. My favorite pastime is golf.
Okay.
To where, yeah, I don't know. Is it fair? I mean, because Tom's, like I've said this before when I've been asked this in public situations, he's really smart and he's very talented. So he doesn't do anything foolish. He knows what he's doing. He studies it. He wants you to rehearse things. And him wanting you to rehearse things is simply production value. Time-wise, he doesn't have time to go rehearse all this stuff when you're making a movie with him. He needs things to be worked out so he can be briefed and jump right into it and do it. And then, of course, he's a quick study. He learns everything, and it's kind of amazing.
Well, Brad Bird told us that there was a guy on Ghost Protocol who had something not wrong with him, but he like couldn't feel fear or something. What was that?
Oh, I think Robert Ellsworth, I think, told us about this.
Okay.
That there was one of the guys who was in charge of keeping. He was like, in the Dubai sequence. He was like a mountain climber guy who was hanging there, and his responsibility was basically if Crooze like falls to be there for support. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
And the guy had he had lost his adrenaline, so like he had no fear essentially.
Wow. So he would go out there. I don't know. It's a lot like doing this podcast.
He didn't feel like the rush of danger when something bad was happening.
Right.
Which is...
I think that's all that Charles feels, is the rush of danger when something bad is happening.
And, I mean, I know the stunt crew out there in Dubai, I'm sure there was plenty of safety backups when they were up there.
It's funny, Ellsworth said Crooze had one wire holding it. And that was it.
I'm sure that's all it is. Yeah. Yep.
No.
It's not for the faint...
No.
Of heart, weak at heart. It's not for anybody that's scared of heights.
Right.
Yeah. No, he's pretty, I can't say insane because that's not doing him justice. He's confident.
He's just
in his
committed.
abilities.
He's committed.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
And one quote, I don't know, let's see who said it. He says, he wants to do everything because he feels like his audiences deserve it.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
I don't think we've ever seen an actor who is so in tune and so worried about giving the audience every single thing. Yeah. He wants to know. If you're going out, you're hiring a babysitter, you're paying $17.50 or whatever it is, you got your popcorn. Right. He wants to make sure you get your money's worth, and every time
more than any other person, I think.
Yeah. I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio has these anxieties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This determination to be the most entertaining.
Most actors nah, you go ahead. You can do that. I'm no interested in that whatsoever. So enjoy yourself.
Did you see the MTV Movie Awards sketch?
Ben Stiller?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
That is basically you.
In a way, you were Tom Crooze, Crooze.
Yes, exactly. And I worked with Ben Stiller before that. And that was one of the birthday parties I got invited to. Ben Stiller was there, and it was right after that, one of Tom's birthday parties. And talked about that. It was pretty funny.
Did you work with Stiller? Is it Stiller as director or as an actor?
No, as a stunt double for Ben Stiller one time on a movie called Heavyweights.
Oh wow!
Disney coming soon to Disney Plus, I'm sure. Heavyweights, yeah.
Exactly.
That's a cult favorite. That movie.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it's had quite a long tail.
Yeah, it's got a cult following for sure.
I love it.
So after Mission Impossible 2, you doubled him on Vanilla Sky.
Yes.
The Cameron Crowe, very weird Cameron Crowe movie.
Yeah.
And then Minority Report and Austin Powers.
Yes.
And were those were the last couple of things you did with him?
Yeah, I mean, Minority Report was the last one. I think Austin Powers, I feel like it was before that.
And you played a part in Minority Report as well.
Yes,
you were
I
one
played
of the cops.
one of the pre-crime cops, exactly.
But you're also doubling for Tom. And in the reel that you showed us of your Tom Cruise work, there are these like sort of overhead, extreme wide shots of Tom Cruise running.
Yes.
Quote unquote, Tom Cruise running,
just jogging,
jogging late at night, in that movie. And that's actually Keith.
Yeah.
And the magnetic cars. I don't want to say hover cars.
That was
some
awesome.
kind of yeah.
Yeah, there's some
behind
behind the scenes stuff of them on the Minority Report DVD that shows the coaching of where Tom is actually doing so much of that. He does most all the car-to-car stuff. There's, I think, one little scene where I jump down into a yoga studio. Again, not because Tom couldn't do it, it's just because
they couldn't risk hurting Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Tom likes to risk hurting Tom Cruise. So, yeah, I mean, who knows why I would do some things and he wouldn't do it. I think it's time management, probably.
Right.
Mostly. I mean, he would do everything they'd let him do.
What's it like working with Steven Spielberg? Because you worked on both Minority Report and AI.
Wait, let's not forget everyone's favorite Steven Spielberg movie, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Thank you.
Yes,
that classic movie.
The classic. Everyone, not only everyone's favorite Spielberg movie, everyone's favorite Indiana Jones movie. Yeah.
He did one movie. Spielberg did a movie with Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman and Julia Roberts.
Oh,
I can't remember what that was.
Awakenings. Yeah.
No, Hook was
Hook
was my huge break with him. We're actually into the movie business.
Really?
Yeah, I doubled Robin Williams, and spent 7 months with Robin and Dustin Hoffman and Mr. Spielberg on that one. And man, what an awesome time in my life.
Yeah,
that set alone.
What was it like working with Spielberg on all these movies?
Great. He just wants professionals that are going to do their job well. And hey, what can you do here? What can you do there? And that's where my gymnastics reputation really was put to the test. It was not a ton of wire work at all. There was some wire flying shots where I would do that Robin Williams would also do a little bit of, but it was mostly catapult stuff. One of my favorite stunts that I've ever done in the business was when Peter Pan and Hook decide to start their epic battle, and they clash swords together, and Peter Pan does this double backflip off the ship down to the dock, and
that was you?
Scariest, yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot of room for error on that one. Yeah, and again, standing on a catapult with a button rigged into the sword, and just flipping through the air in one take, and Spielberg going amazing.
If that had, he said it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Is it? Yeah, like your career could have cut very short.
Yeah, the beginning and end of your career.
Yeah, really.
Any good Hoffman stories from that one? Because we heard.
Here's how pleasant he was. And I've run into him later. No, he was awesome on Hook. I've run into him later, and he's so into character, and and try and bring up old times about Hook, and it's like he doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, because there were rumors of Hoffman kicking Spielberg off set to shoot some scenes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You weren't.
I wasn't privy to any of that stuff.
What about AI? Because you play a part in AI.
I played a really cool part, had a little write-up in Variety magazine, and then it ended up being a thing where there's not enough time. We're moving past that, and basically I played this road worker who was just part of the robot gang that went to the Flesh Fair and had a couple lines that were never really an important part of the movie, so they didn't make it.
But we see your face.
Yes,
your
you
face
see
is
my
in
face.
that.
So you're like a cyborgy.
Yeah.
You're not like a. Some of them are more robotic.
Right. I've got half a construction helmet. and I can't even remember how much of my face was not there. But yeah, you see some real body parts in my brain, and it was just a kind of just a fun hanging out with a bunch of really interesting people.
Who did was that Stan Winston? Who did that?
Yeah,
Stan Winston. Yeah.
Did you work with Stan Winston doing that?
I got to meet him a couple of times.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah.
What did they? So they outfitted you with this?
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Full on. You go in and you get your plaster put all over your head, so they can make molds of your head, and they build all these pieces to glue on there, and even my construction helmet was glued onto my head, and it's all prosthetic makeup, and very time consuming. We did most of that down at the Queen Mary, the hangar, the Spruce Goose hangar outside the Queen Mary, yeah. And boy, they were very, very strict on not going outside between the hangar and the Queen Mary where people might be able to take pictures of you. It was all very, very secretive.
Yeah, nothing came out about that movie until the movie was out. It was really interesting.
And it came together really fast, I remember.
Yeah. And you got to... Was Teddy in that scene? Because he is my favorite character in fiction.
I think he was in the he was in the cage at the Flash
what was
Fair.
that? He had... I mean, that was a full animatronic.
Yeah, I don't remember much about that at all.
How much time did you have to spend in the makeup chair to get that?
That was probably, I would say on average, like an hour and a half getting it on, and probably at least a half hour, 45 getting it off. It's tough to get off as well.
Yeah.
Were you a pirate in Pirates? And were you one of David Jones's guys?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to look out for you.
This is Pirates of the Caribbean we're talking about now?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a British officer. I was a pirate. I was part of Davy Jones's guy. Davy Jones, he doesn't come in until
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
So who were you? What creature were you? Because
all we did was wear gray suits with white polka dots on them.
You have no idea who you even are.
No.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, nah.
Okay.
That's
so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you worked with Gore Verbinski quite a bit?
I met Gore Verbinski. I got a call from a older stunt gentleman. I was working on a movie called Wolf at Sony Studios, and he goes, hey, just around the corner from Sony, I dropped off some porta pits, some large stunt pads, and they've got a girl jumping off a diving board into these porta pits and no stunt representative there. Would you mind stopping by? I said, no problem. I swing by and go in and introduce myself. Hey, I'm a stunt guy. My friend asked me to stop by. And Gore, who I just met there, I mean, all these people went, we're so happy you're here. Thank you so much. Gore has gone on to tell the story that I was then climbing up the rafters and jumping off from the ceiling into these porta pits for some reason. And anyway, I met him there. Then, flash forward to a few months later, I get a call from his assistant saying, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just flying into town from a job. And they go, great, would you mind coming by the set? Gore's shooting a Canon commercial, Canon printer copier commercial. I said, sure. I get there, they hand me a contract and said they didn't like the other stunt coordinator and wondered if you would like to coordinate the commercial. That's where I met Gore. So our relationship started there, and he said, someday I'm going to do movies, and you're going to be my stunt coordinator as soon as I can hire you. He did 2 movies, Mouse Hunt, The Mexican. The third one was The Ring, and he said, please come and interview on The Ring. I want to use you. And I thinking I'm going to go there interviewing to be a stunt part, an acting type of thing, and it's there to be a coordinator. That was my first coordinating job, was The Ring.
Wow.
Love The Ring.
Oh, so awesome. And then, Gore has always been close, and he asked my advice on who he was going to hire on Pirates. He said, you don't have the resume. I can't fight the battle to have a guy that's only done, one other thing with me doing Pirates. I'm fortunate to be where I am. But I want you to be there, and I want your advice or opinion on people that I get to interview. So that was a pretty cool thing. And then we did Rango together.
Rango is awesome.
I was an actor.
You play a part?
Yeah, I do.
You're a bird.
Big part.
Yeah.
So what is that? What did that entail?
I was next to the last credit, and the last credit in the actors was Gore Verbinski himself.
But I mean, what?
Oh my
God! How did you?
Okay,
is that another suit?
Oh, you haven't seen any of this footage?
We were doing stage work, and they would do just small replicas of as many set pieces as they could, like the saloon and the bar, and throwing guys out the window, and we'd recreate that. And you were not wearing white dots and motion capture type stuff where they would put it into a computer. You were dressed kind of in costume. Then they would send the footage up to the animators, and they called it emotion capture instead of motion capture.
So you're not actually wearing any...
No, it wasn't performance. It was keyframe animation. So it was regular animation, but they were using... But if you look at the stuff that they shot, it's almost it's shot for shot what winds up in the movie. It's really awesome.
There's a couple of pieces where this lizard, Rango, he slaps the woman. I know he punches her out at one point, this old woman. And I'm there in a huge dress and a bonnet and filming this stuff, or dressed in different stuff. Like when I was Sodbuster, basically I come in to a bar. He's at the bar. Rango's at the bar. And I come in with these bad guys just shooting at my feet, and I'm jumping all around and screaming, no. And basically it's you must pay the rent, or, this is what you get. It was a throwaway thing, but it was pretty exciting to be a part of that. And then helping the actors create some of their action when we were just doing the voices, trying to help them get up to speed and get their energy and get their breath right and stuff. When is it Isla Fisher? She's she's.
So were you recording dialogue during this?
Yes.
Okay. That's like Wes Anderson and Fantastic Fox.
The way he does Fantastic Fox and
running
Isle of
around.
Dogs.
But then we had to go re-record it the way we're doing this now, in just a small room, microphones, and try and match the level of intensity that we were doing when we were filming this stuff on stage. Wow. And there were some huge scenes in Rango that had nothing to do with anything we filmed. A lot of the outdoor stuff and the big birds flying over, but some of the smaller stuff, we did so much of that on stage, the saloon stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. A lot of it, like with Isla Fisher, I think riding on like the stagecoach stuff, just trying to get her breath going and excitement of her stuff going, and just... Yeah, it was kind of a cool experience.
It's awesome.
Todd worked on that too.
Todd Vaziri?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, didn't want that to end.
No.
Love him.
I love Keith. He's so wonderful, and I hope I get to work with him again.
You better.
If he'll have me.
Are you going to have stunts in your next movie? Are there stunts in your next movie?
I don't know.
No.
Not really.
Okay, well.
We'll see.
So it'll be a while.
The script is still evolving.
You're gonna put in a car chase just to work with him.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Obviously, if you sign up for our Patreon, it would help no matter what you can give. If you could give anything, it would be awesome.
Yes, please.
It's what's keeping the lights on in here. And
but the lights are flickering.
They're flickering, so give us money.
We're recording. Oh, we're in darkness.
Oh, God. It's a nightmare. We could record in darkness, actually.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be as hot.
All right, here we go.
The lights are off now.
Okay.
Podcast after dark. Now I can't read my notes.
Oh,
the light's coming back
Oh,
on.
no.
Patreon.com/LightTheFuse. Sign up for the bonus content.
What else would help us is if you would like, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening to this podcast. That would also very much help us. If you want to reach out on Twitter, Instagram, wherever your social media calling goes, we would love to answer your questions. If you have show ideas, suggestions about who you want us to talk to, let us know.
Yes, please send them our way. And this episode is brought to you by Jeremy Dillon, and it was mixed and edited by Luke Burson.
All right.
So
until next week.
Until next week.
Goodbye.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. And before we go, another mission, should you choose to accept it. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And remember that you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LightTheFusePod, and email us questions or comments at lightthefusepodcasts@gmail.com. If you'd like to watch the original Mission Impossible television show, all 7 seasons are currently available to stream on Amazon Prime. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.